So we just finished the lecture part of AZ-204. In this video, we're going to go through some review questions. In total, there are going to be 49 questions. So I'm going to split these 49 questions into two different parts. So let's look into the part 1 of it. You have multiple applications running in a single app service plan. True or false? Each app in the service plan can have different scaling rules. The answer is false. The app service plan is the scale unit of the app service apps. If the plan is configured to run 5 virtual machine instances, then all apps in the plan run on all 5 instances. If the plan is configured for auto scaling, then all apps in the plan are scaled out together based on the auto scale settings. Question number 2. Which of the following app service plans is available only to function apps? The correct answer is consumption. The consumption tier is only available to function apps. It scales the functions dynamically depending on the workload. Question number 3. Which of the following app service tiers is not currently available to app service on Linux? Correct answer is shared. App service on Linux is only supported with free, basic, standard, and premium app service plans and does not have a shared tier. You cannot create a Linux web app in an app service plan already hosting a non-Linux web app. Which of the following settings are not swapped when you swap an app? Select all the answers that apply. Correct answers are publishing endpoints, always on, and custom domain names. Some configuration elements follow the content access a swap, not slot specific, whereas other configuration elements stay in the same slot after a swap, which is known as slot specific. Question number 5. Which of the following plans for functions automatically add compute power if needed when your code is running? Select all the answers which is applied to this question. The correct answers are consumption plan and premium plan. Both consumption and premium plans automatically add compute power when your code is running. Your app is scaled out when needed to handle load and scaled down when the code stops running. Question number 6. Is the following statement true or false? The statement is only functions running in the consumption plan require a general Azure storage account. The answer is false. On any plan, a function app requires a general Azure storage account, which supports Azure Blob, queues, files, and table storage. Question number 7. You created a function in the Azure portal. Which of the following statements regarding the direction property of the triggers or bindings are valid? Select all that apply. You can pause these videos in between before I reveal the answer. The answers to the question is: for triggers, the direction is always in. Input and output bindings can use in and out, and some bindings can use in out. All triggers and bindings have a direction property in the function.json file. Question number 8. Azure Functions uses a component called Scale Controller to monitor the rate of events and determine whether to scale out or scale in. Is the following statement true or false? The statement is: when you are using an Azure queue storage trigger, it scales based on the queue length and age of the newest queue message. The statement is wrong, so the answer is false. When using an Azure queue storage trigger, it scales based on the queue length and the age of the oldest queue message. Question number 9. Which of the below are valid application patterns that can benefit from durable functions? Select all the answers that apply to this statement. The correct answers are function chaining, fan out and fan in, async HTTP APIs. Question number 10. Which of the following types of blobs are designed to store text and binary data? The correct answer is block blob. Block blobs store text and binary data up to about 4.7 terabytes. Block blobs are made up of blocks of data that can be managed individually. Question number 11. There are three access tiers for block blob data: hot, cold, and archive. New storage accounts are created in which tier by default? Correct answer is hot. The hot access tier, which is optimized for frequent access of objects in the storage account. New storage accounts are created in the hot tier by default. Question number 12. True or false? All data written to Azure storage is automatically encrypted using SSL. The statement is wrong, so the answer is false. All data, including metadata, written to Azure storage is automatically encrypted using Storage Service Encryption or SSE. Question number 13. Which of the following redundancy options will protect your data in the event of a region-wide outage? The correct answers are read access geo-redundant storage, which is known as RAGRS, or GRS, which is geo-redundant storage. GRS and RAGRS will protect your data in case of a region-wide outage. LRS provides protection at the node level within a data center. ZRS provides protection at the data center level, which is zonal or non-zonal. Question number 14. Which of the below options would contain triggers and stored procedures in the Azure Cosmos DB hierarchy? The correct answer is containers. Stored procedures, user-defined functions, triggers, etc. are stored at the container level. Question number 15. The cost of all database operations is abstracted and normalized by Azure Cosmos DB and is expressed by which of the options below? The correct answer is request units. The cost of all database operations is normalized by Azure Cosmos DB and is expressed by request units or RUs for short. Question number 16. Azure Cosmos DB allows developers to choose among 5 well-defined consistency models: strong, bounded, staleness, session, consistent prefix, and eventual. Which of the statements below describing these models are true? Select all that apply. The correct answers are option 2 and 3. When the consistency level is set to bounded staleness, Cosmos DB guarantees that the client always read the value of a previous write. The next option is when the consistency level is set to strong, the staleness window is equivalent to 0 and the clients are guaranteed to read the latest committed value of the write operation. Question number 17. Partition keys should have many distinct values. If such a property doesn't exist in your data, you can construct a synthetic partition key. Which of the following methods below create a synthetic key? The correct answer is concatenate multiple properties of an item. You can form a partition key by concatenating multiple property values into a single artificial partition key property. These keys are referred to as synthetic keys. Question number 18. An availability set is a logical grouping of virtual machines within a data center that allows Azure to understand how your application is built to provide for redundancy and availability. Is the following statement about availability set is true or false? So let's read the statement. It is recommended that a minimum of 3 or more VMs are created within an availability set to provide for a highly available application and to meet the 99.95% Azure SLA. The statement is false. 2 or more VMs are necessary to meet the 99.95% Azure SLA. Question number 19. Docker is a containerization platform used to develop, ship, and run containers. Which of the following uses the Docker REST API to send instruction to either a local or remote server? The correct answer is Docker client. The Docker client is a command line application named Docker that provides us with a command line interface to interact with a Docker server. The Docker command uses the Docker REST API to send instructions to either a local or remote server and functions as the primary interface we use to manage our containers. Question number 20. What does the following Docker command do? The command is docker rmi temp dash ubuntu colon version dash 1.0. The correct answer is removed the image with a version. You can remove an image from the local Docker registry with the docker rmi command. Specify the name or ID of the image to remove. Question number 21. The top level resource in Azure Container Instance is the container group. A container group is a collection of containers that get scheduled on the same host machine. Your solution requires using a multi-container group. Which host operating system should you use? Correct answer is Linux. Multi-container groups currently support only Linux containers. For Windows containers, Azure Container Instances only supports deployment of a single instance. Question number 22. In the context of Azure Active Directory, application is frequently used as a conceptual term, referring to not only the application software but also its Azure AD registration and role in authentication, authorization, conversation at runtime. In that context, what role or roles can an app function? The correct answer is both client and resource server role. By definition, an app can function in these roles. Question number 23. What resources or objects are created when you register an Azure AD application in the portal? Select all the answers which is correct. The correct answers are application object and service principal object. When you register an Azure AD application in the Azure portal, two objects are created in your Azure AD tenant. Question number 24. Shared access signature is a signed URI that points to one or more storage resources and includes a token that contains a special set of query parameters. What are the two ways you can sign an SAS? The correct answers are with the storage account key and with user delegation key. You can sign a SAS in one of two ways. Question number 25. The Microsoft Authentication Library or MSAL defines two types of clients, public clients and confidential clients. Which of the two definitions below describe a public client application? The correct statement is the app is entrusted to safely keep application secret, so it only accesses web APIs on behalf of the user. It can't hold configuration time secrets, so it doesn't have client secrets. So Microsoft Authentication Library defines two types of clients, public clients and confidential clients. Let's look at the last question in the part 1. With MSAL.NET 3.x, the recommended way to instantiate an application is by using application builders, public client application builder and confidential client application builder. True or false? All of the dot with modifiers can be used for both the public and confidential builders. The statement is false. Most of the dot with modifiers can be used for both public and confidential app builders. There are a few that are specific to the confidential client, which are dot with certificate and dot client secret. So that completed the part 1 of the review question. In the next lesson, we are going to look into part 2, and there we will cover questions from 27 to 49. I will see you on the next one. Until then, take care.